Hi everyone, I'd like to just do a quick run through of the Burtons VETair2 dental machine. The first thing we need to do is to remove the water bottle and to make sure that this red button on the inside here is in the up position. You shouldn't never need to touch that, but just in case, just make sure that's in the up position. And there's a tap here that turns the water supply on and off. So that tap should be up and in line with the hose. The next thing we can do is to fill up our water bottle. Now sometimes there might be some pressure, residual pressure in the bottle, which means you won't be able to take the top off. So you just need to pull back on this pull rod just to make sure that any residual compress there is released. Once you've done that, you can remove the top and fill the bottle with distilled water. Reconnect it and put it back into its housing, like so. Next, we're going to have a look at the switches. Now, as you'll see here, there's a gauge, and that gauge just tells us that the machine's up to pressure when it's being used. So when you put your foot on the foot pedal, the gauge will rise. We have here, this switch here is to switch the water off and on, and this increases or decreases the flow of water. This switch switches between the low or polisher and the high-speed handpiece. This switches between the scaler. This machine does have a built-in scaler, so this switches between the scaler and the handpieces. This control regulates the amount of water that's coming through the scaler, and this here control regulates the power of the scaler. Looking at the handpieces, the first thing we have is the air and water syringe. To connect the syringe to the handpiece, if you press in on that collar, push the handpiece in until it locks into place, like that, and on top you have air and water. The next thing we do is connect the polisher or the low-speed handpiece. That comes in two sections. It has the micromotor and it has the Profi angle. So connect those two together. Take the hose, and you'll see there are two large, two small holes that these fit into. It's important to get these the right way around. Screw it up, put it into place. Next we have the drill. Again, exactly the same configuration. Now it's important to remember that the drill needs to go onto the right hand hose and the polisher onto the left hand one. Otherwise, when you come to use it, you'll find you won't get any water coming out of the drill, and that is one of the common things that happens. People find they don't get any water out of the drill, and what's happened is they've connected the hand pieces up the wrong way around. So just make sure they're connected up the right way. And lastly, we connect the scaler, like so. Just would like to have a look at this drill in a little bit more detail, or the high-speed handpiece. To insert or remove one of the burrs in here, you need to press the button on the back and release this. Now, if you'll notice, when you get one of these new, it comes with this blank. It doesn't have any sharp burr on the end, but it is actually quite important to keep this in the chuck whenever the drill's not being used, because if it's removed and someone inadvertently puts a foot on the foot pedal, it can throw the chucks out of alignment and it can make it difficult to get anything back into it again. So if the drill's not being used for any length of time, make sure you replace that blank. Next we'll have a look at the scaler, and Scaler tips come in this handy little torque wrench. The way to use that is to screw that onto the end of the scaler, and you turn that until it's tight, and then this just spins and it can't tighten up anymore. You can then remove that, and there's your tip in place. To remove the tip, again, put the tip into this torque wrench, turn it until you can push it down, and then unscrew to remove it, and the tip is protected within this protective sheath. The polisher or slow speed handpiece consists of 3 parts. We have the micromotor, the connector to allow the fitting of the profi angle. To remove, press this spring-loaded button and remove that. And also this has a forward and reverse function. When the screw is at the F, we're in forward, and if we turn that to the R, it's in reverse. Push together. These profi angles will over time get clogged up with paste, and there may be times where you need to exchange that one for a new one. With regards to maintenance, there's not a lot to do with these machines. They are an oil-free compressor, so there's no need to change or top up the oil periodically, but it's quite important that you do oil the high and low speed handpieces. To do that, remove the handpiece, and inside here you will see there are 2 larger holes and 2 very small ones. The smaller of the 2 larger ones is where you drop 2 or 3 drops of oil in at the end of each day's use, and as long as you do that, you'll find that you will get trouble-free working of the drill and the low speed handpiece, because then it will be adequately lubricated. Again, make sure that you put these back in the right way around, and exactly the same for the high speed handpiece. The smaller of the 2 larger holes, 2 to 3 drops of oil in there, and that's all you need to do. The foot pedal is located in its housing, and because this machine has a built-in scaler, there is no separate foot pedal for the scaler. You can just switch between scaler and handpieces, and when you use it, we'll switch this onto the high-speed handpiece. This will work until the compressor becomes low enough that it will fill, and the compressor will fill automatically after a period of time, and then will cut off again. At the end of the day, it's always good practice to empty the water bottle. So just like we filled it up, remembering to release the pressure by pulling on that pull rod there, the blue one. Once you've done that, you can remove the top and empty the water bottle. The last thing we have to do from a maintenance point of view, now this is not something you need to do every day, but possibly once a week, is if we have a look under here, we'll see this blue tap and there's a hose. If you put the hose into a suitable receptacle just to catch some moisture, we can open the tap, drain off any moisture that might have built up in there, and close it. Because we're using compressed air, when you compress a gas, the air gets hot, and when the machine's in use and it decompresses, it gets cool again. So the constant warming up and cooling down can cause some condensation in the bottle. So therefore, we drain that off once a week or so. So this is the Burtons VETair2. Thanks for watching.